My name is Outsider2522. Welcome to another Idleon video. Now, I'm sure some of you who follow me will know that I've kind of been MIA. I apologise. The family got hit by sickness. I've been super busy. Work has been manic. I just haven't had the headspace to really create content. I'm looking to rectify that. Obviously, if you do need to get hold of me, I am always active in my Discord. So if you do want to find out what's going on with me or ask any questions, feel free to join that. What's today's video going to be about? We're going to look into the second part of the caves. I did part 1 a long time ago, basically on release. Part 2, so caves 6 through 10. What are the mechanics? What do I recommend you do? Let's talk about it. Okay, so you've been digging for a while with your explorer, and you've gone further into the caverns. You've reached cavern 6, and you come across the harp. Now, the first thing to know about this is I was very confused by the mechanics of how this harp works. You actually have to strum the strings. Okay, so like an actual harp, if you're on mobile, finger on the screen, hold it down, strum it. On PC, click, drag, and hold. All right? That's how you use the harp. Now, the way the harp's going to work is that there are different strings you can unlock. Each string can have a different key on it. So, similar to a normal octave, they go from C background to B. Okay? We don't have B available to us yet, so at the minute you'll go C, D, E, F, G, A. Each key does a different thing. So C is just going to give you notes, really, really simple. They also have a level bonus, so each string has a level attached to it. Sorry, we'll call it key for now. Each key has a level attached to it. Based around the level, you get a bonus multiplier. So for key C, you get extra harp note gains. That means that every time you strum it, you will get more notes based around how many levels you have in C. This is the basic one, but it's very, very good. D is going to give you a chance to find an opal. This scales very, very drastically. I think I've managed to find 7 opals now. My chance of finding another one is 0.002%, so probably not very likely to happen. There are better things, so I recommend using this quickly to begin with to get some opals, to get more stats into your villagers, and then moving elsewhere. It does have a nice bonus on it though, harp note gain, so again you're going to get more notes by levelling this up. The way you'll level these up, by the way, is by having them on the harp and strumming them. There is a mechanic later on. The next one is E. E doesn't do anything. Okay, so when you strum it, it's not going to do anything, but it does have a level up bonus, which is harp power per hour. What that means is that your harp strings are going to recharge quicker, which means you can strum more often. That's very, very important. Then we have F. F creates a quarter of the amount that the key C would make, but it also gets the 2 notes either side of it, which means that you end up losing a quarter of the notes if you just had all C's, but it means that you can get more notes for less strings. It also comes with harp note gain as its bonus for leveling up. Then we have G. G is the one that's going to give XP to all notes, to all strings. When you unlock this, I highly recommend running this on everything to begin with, just to get some really, really quick levels. It's massive, the amount of bonuses it can give. The bonus is string XP gain, so it kind of self-explanatory. This is just to help level up. And then note 8 creates 1/16 of all notes available. It also has the bonus of harp note gain. A is kind of like the, in my opinion, sort of like the end game one. When you don't really want to focus on one thing, but you kind of just want all notes because you want to upgrade all sorts of things across the game. You're probably going to put a lot into that. There are different types of note available to you, so they go up. To unlock them, use previous costs from the note before. So basically, you start with a crotchet. You then, to unlock the natural, you need 150 crotchets, and to unlock base, you need 1,909 naturals. Okay, it scales up like that, so it's a thing you're going to get over time. These are the resources that are used in various upgrades across the whole. So Don't skimp out on these. You're going to need them, mainly to do with the measure and the engineer require them. So definitely worth doing. Mentioned the measure a few times, but we still haven't come across him. So we'll see. He's in the next cave. The next cave is the lamp. Minnow, the measurer, is here. He is massively powerful. He takes stats throughout the game, various stats that you've achieved. So things like the amount of gloomies that you've killed in one of the caverns, and it will give you multi-kill based around it. So you spend whole resources to level up the measure, and you then use his stats from in the game to multiply it. There's one that goes off total skill level. If you're looking at that, you're probably going to push your construction level, that sort of thing. Fishing, construction, farming, and sneaking are probably the highest levels available. So the lamp is kind of nice, and it's pretty straightforward in the way that it works. Every single day you will get a certain amount of wishes. You can increase this through the measure. The measurer has one. You can increase it through the justice statue. All of these things will give you more wishes per day. There might even be some stuff in the engineer, I can't remember. What will end up happening is you're going to end up wanting to unlock more wishes. So the first wish you have is more wishes. You spend a certain amount of wishes to unlock the next one. The cost scales and goes up every single time. So be prepared to spend a little bit of time waiting. The cost is the number of the number of wishes unlocked squared. Okay, so a very, very simple formula. The second wish is the one that is probably the most important wish it has, which is to reset all invested opals or conjurer points. Personally, the opals is the one that interests me. What you can do now is you can put 100% of your opals into a single villager and get more bonuses from the every 10 opals scale. Alright, this is big, and it means, you can just focus one villager, unlock everything, reset your opals, unlock the next villager. The third wish is to buy an opal. You're going to need this for villager XP. Although there are probably better things to spend your wishes on later. So how many opals you want to buy is up to you. You probably want to get a few because the first few are quite cheap. The next one is bring them back. It's going to give you 12 hours of respect for a monument of your choice. You can choose between bravery and justice. We haven't spoken about justice yet. I've just mentioned him, but he is in this group of caves. What this means is that at various points you will get bonuses for the monuments. So the biggest one is at 24,000 points. You can buy hours of respect here rather than AFKing at the statue. Depends where you're at in the game. If you're end game, you're probably just going to AFK at the statue because you don't have a lot to do. If you're mid to early game, this might interest you. It only costs 2 wishes, so it is very, very cheap. And you can technically buy a lot of early bonuses relatively quickly. The early bonuses are massive for the monuments, so I wouldn't sleep on this. After this one, we start getting into the world specific. So we get World 4 stuff. What this is going to do is it's going to give you cooking speed. This is multiplicative, so it's a massive bonus. It's going to give you breeding speed, which gives shiny pet level and breedability rate. This is multiplicative. This is massive. If you want to do your World 4 achievement for 15 breedabilities at rank 7, this is pretty much the only way you're going to do it, although it takes quite some investment. So I've put many, many points into it, and I'm doing about 1 pet a week. Only for the completionists out there, would not recommend it as a tactic. Then the final thing on it is Lab XP. This is additive. Lab XP, once you reach level 120, I think, no, 210. Is it 210 now? I can't remember. I think it's 210. We don't really need it that much. So how much you put into this is up to you. But after you unlock those final jewels, you probably don't need to put more time into Lab. But it is there in case Lava adds things. What Lava is doing recently a lot more seems to be playing back into mechanics that are already existing. And everything that's in the hole so far seems to reappear. So it might be that we start needing the Lab again. The next one is going to be a moderate discount. It gives a 15% discount on the next schematic creation. Schematics are not that expensive so far. This is multiplicative, so you can buy multiple, which means that it scales. Okay, so you can do 15 and then you can do another 15% off, but it's not. It's multiplicative, so rather than it being 15% off, you would actually get less than 15% off because you no longer have 100% of the total. I'm not going to go into the maths on it. But yeah, think of it like the discount bubble, the discount purchase for liquid in the alchemy tab. This always costs 2, so relatively cheap. Again, I don't know, maybe later schematics we're going to need it. The next one is World 5 things. This is going to give sailing loot, bit gain, and divinity points, all on multiplicative. So if you are trying to get god ranks or you're trying to unlock those last purchases in gaming, this is massive, even for sailing loot, I guess, so then you can unlock better boats quicker. This is a really, really good one in my opinion. Up to a point, once you unlock things, you probably don't need it that much more. The one with these world bonuses is they do scale, so every 5 levels you put into them, the cost will go up by 1. It's not a huge increase, but it is an increase. The next wish is infinite resources. This is a 0.25 times multiplier for well and harp resources. It costs 1, and every 20 levels it goes up by 1, which means the cost scales really, really well. The bonuses are massive. It is a multiplier, and it keeps going up by 0.25 times. So 4 levels into it, you're already an extra 100% on top of your well and harp resources. So you can start getting nutty bonuses. You need the well and the harp to upgrade your measurer, so this is definitely worth looking into. The final one is the World 6 Majiggers. It's going to do the same thing, but it's for World 6. So next crop chance, stealth, and all essence gain. Multiplicative, every 5th level it goes up by 1. The cost goes up by 1. With the new crops and how difficult they are to reach, this is definitely one that is worth investing in my opinion. Also stealth for ninjas, we've reached a point where we can't go much higher, so this is probably the only way you're going to get further. That's kind of it. So as I say, it's a very, very simple cavern mechanically. You just spend wishes to get more wishes. You get more wishes per day from bonuses that you get in the hole. Alright, spend the wishes however you want. The World 4, 5 and 6 bonuses are really nice. Okay, so the 8th cavern, we've got the Undying Hive. This is similar to the Motherlode Orb that is the first cavern, except this time you're going to get fractal flies. You need to catch a certain number of fractal flies. You will then be able to break a level, which gives you an opal, and it unlocks the next one. The efficiency required to catch them increases massively, and catching is one of the harder skills to level up your efficiency for. However, with the Justice Monument, there are new ways to do it. Do I think this is worthwhile? Yes, early on to get some quick opals, probably not later on. There are probably better things you can be doing with your toons throughout most of the game, unless you're really at that completionist stage where you're kind of just AFKing randomly for the hell of it, in which case this might be attractive. I do actually have my 2 siege breakers here at the moment just because I didn't know where else to put them. Again, it's a really, really easy cavern. You're just going to go there, catch. Remember to pick up your fractal flies. If you do not pick them up, they do not count towards your break-in of a level. The 9th cave is the Gloomy Grotto. In there you're going to find Gloomy Mushrooms. These are a new mob. The card is good, I believe, if I remember rightly. The card gives villager XP, so you may want to do it. The card is very, very difficult to farm because these enemies are unaffected by most respawn mechanics. The only one which you can use is if you're active with a siege breaker. The coin respawn from plunderous kills works inside here, so it's a bit slow to get started, but once you get started you can keep up your combo, which means you can spawn them in quicker. Siege breaker, not the best class to farm like things on, but it is possible. And this is the only time I'm going to recommend, if you do want that village XP bonus from the card, I recommend buying, they're in World 5, aren't they? World 5 card packs, praying that you get a card drop of it. If you do, it is very likely to be the gold level. Once you get the gold level, you can cardify it all the way up to Ruby. That's what myself and a lot of people I know did. However, that can be expensive because you're down to RNG, and each card pack is many gems. So I'd only do it if you really, really need that villager XP. The thing they do drop here, which is amazing, is the Dragon Warrior statue. And what this does is it multiplies the bonuses from all other statues. This means that at certain levels you end up getting double your statue value. We're already at the point of Onyx statues, which give huge bonuses. This is another one you can Onyx for 20,000. It's going to be a slow grind. The reason is when you're actively farming the Gloomy Mushrooms, this will drop as a single item. One Dragon Warrior statue if you get lucky and hit that RNG table. However, there is a way to kind of trick the system. So similar to the red frisbees that are with the... is it tree mushrooms? The Dragon Warrior statue is the first item in the Gloomy Mushrooms drop table. This means that when you're AFK, it is affected by multi-kill. Now, with enough multi-kill, you could potentially be looking at dropping 1,000 statues if you're lucky. The way I actually farmed this was I checked at 15 to 20 minute intervals, so I had my siege breakers there farming whilst making bars. It's not as important these days with all the forge upgrades, but at the time I did this, forge was still a bit of a nightmare. So every 15-20 minutes I'd check back. That meant I'd left long enough to probably get a Dragon Warrior statue from them, and I just got them that way. It is a bit of a painful grind, I'll be honest with you. That is the best way to do it. Okay, so that's kind of what there is to do with the Gloomy Mushrooms. The way this cave works is once you kill a certain number of Gloomy Shrooms, you can spawn in the Gloom Shroom Monarch. The Gloomy Mushroom Monarch, when you kill it, will drop an opal. This scales horribly in terms of the number of kills you need to get. So, let's have a look. By the time you're at Cave 10, you need to kill 1 billion of them. Now, remember what I said, by respawn mechanics don't really work that well here. It is a long grind to kill 1 billion of them. 11 is another 3.5 billion. This is something you'll have to consider. So, whether you farm here or not is up to you, but the opals to time invested is relatively low. There is a bonus in the measurer that does multi-kill based around number of Gloomy Mushrooms killed. Multi-kill per tier as well, so it's quite a decent bonus. So if you do have a class that has nothing else to do, I think my Beastmaster is here at the moment, you might want to leave them there, just killing Gloomy Mushrooms AFK and just see if you can get some multi-kill bonus from it. Alright, that's the real bonus from this cavern, in my opinion, that and the Dragon Warrior statues. Finally, we have the most difficult part of the cave, the Justice statue. Now, the Justice statue is same but different compared to the Bravery statue. You will basically try to clear waves of the minigame. Based around how far you get will give you better bonuses. The bonuses here are you can get opals, you can get catch and efficiency, which is the thing that will help you to do the Undying Hive. We get Harp Note Game, Artifact Find Chance. This does decay after 6 times multiplier. So how much you want to put into that, and if you unlock all artifacts, I don't know how useful this is. But again, remember, like I said, Lava likes to reuse things that are mentioned in here. So there is a chance new artifacts could come in the future. Then we have EXP gain for villagers. I think this is probably a skip in my opinion. The main reason is there's better things in here, and you can get this much easier from Bravery. All summoning essence gain. This is huge. It will only start appearing from wave 17. Chance for Justice opals. I wouldn't put much time into this. The reason is I've got 2,000 points into this in Bravery, and I can't get any more. So it just doesn't scale great. Class XP gain. Probably would skip this because you can get a lot of it from the Vault these days and from Alchemy with Grind Time. More daily lamp wishes at 300%. This will start to decay, which means you'll get less returns. However, more daily lamp wishes are fantastic, so I tend to always go for this. All monument AFK gain. It starts decaying at 50%, but again, it's AFK gain in monument, which means you can hit those 24k bonuses even more. And in Bravery, technically, the AFK gain never ends there because it scales so well. The final one is Justice bonuses multi. What this is going to do is this is going to multiply all bonuses you've unlocked by the multiplier. Okay, it's huge. It does start decaying at 3.5 times. However, and this only starts spawning after wave 77, so you need to reach at least wave 77 for a chance for Justice bonus multiplier to be in the boxes. Now, why is this so difficult? It is difficult because the game doesn't really work how you would anticipate it. Now, I am not the best at this game, but there is a member of Aetherian by the name of Faedragon who is in many Discords doing run-throughs for people because they are just so good at this mode. They've given me some tips on how to achieve more within the mode, and I am here to sort of share them with you. Since using these, I have basically doubled my gains easily. So they do work. So, let's go through them. I apologise, there is a big long list and I'm going to paraphrase, so I might miss some Fae if you are watching this video. Okay. So, the biggest bonus to this mode is how many cases you get through. The reason is because the bonuses in the chest scale off of the number of cases. So, if you were to get 10 chests at 120 cases, you would get way more gains than if you were to get 20 chests at 60 cases. Alright? So the biggest thing here is you want to keep going for as long as possible. With that in mind, you actually want to try and hold on to your resources as much as possible. Which means there's a glaring problem with the game. There is a guy who is going to offer you chests. He's going to offer you chests for resources, such as your popularity or your coins. Do not pay him. Okay, it sounds counterproductive, but do not pay him because he will rob you blind and you will end up skint. Every fifth stage within this, you will come across a Harbinger of Death. If you're lucky, you will get a pink version. I can't remember what his name is, but he'll give you a bonus instead. The Harbinger of Death will want a lot of coins to keep you alive, unless you have no coins. If you have no coins, he will instead want popularity the first time, and the second time he will always take mental health from you. Mental health is the most important resource because when you run out of it, your run is over. You stop at that court case and it is game over. Right. So, that's kind of how it is. Now, there is a thing. So with Harbinger, he wants your coins. You may be inclined to always pay him. However, be careful because if you run out of coins, you will not be able to pay him later and you may miss out on bonuses that are available. Okay, so as a general rule of thumb, you've got to pay him, but just be aware as you get more experience, you may not always want to pay him. Okay. So, you are never going to trade mental health or dismissals for gains. The reason is mental health means if you reject a Harbinger, you don't die. Sorry, die. When you're down to your last health, you will die. If you have a dismissal and the Harbinger is too expensive, you can dismiss him, which means he will not affect your mental health. You can carry on with your run. So these are super important. Okay? So never use dismissals or mentals on anything except your Harbinger. There is one example where you may want to. There is a the potion, I can't remember his name. He will offer you 2 dismissals for 1 mental health. If you have the mental health to spare, you may want to do this because technically you're getting 2 skips for the price of 1. Okay, so remember that. Chests are a scam. Do not buy them unless they're free. Anything that wants mental health or dismissals is generally a scam. Do not use them unless you have to. Okay. So, if you get 3 fizzy drinks in a row, the Board Bean Esquire will appear. If you accept him, he will give you massive amounts of popularity. The only time he won't appear is if you're on the 4th case when you do your 3rd fizzy drink, in which case you'll get a Harbinger. But the case after Harbinger will be the Board Bean will be the Esquire offering you that popularity. You can use this to manipulate the game. So, this is always a positive outcome, which means that you might want to hold off until you get to an expensive part, and then you can buy lots of popularity, or when you're running low on popularity, you might want to use it. If you reject Timmy 3 times, the Harbinger will destroy your coins. Okay, he will say something along the lines of, you don't like Timmy, so you owe me massive amounts of money. Avoid this at all costs. All right, unless you can control it and you want to throw a dismissal, you really don't want to be doing this. Yeah, unless you know you're already going to dismiss or reject, this is going to be really, really expensive. So, just be careful with how many Timmy rejections you do. In terms of Scripticus, you need to be really, really careful with his, because a lot of his ask you to approve the next thing. You could approve something that you don't like. If you approve something that you don't like, you are now locked in. So be careful with him. Mr. Bribe is another one that you might want to be careful of, because he can give you free cases with no approvals. If he does that, you're in a bad place. The Ghost is bad early game. The reason is he will keep knocking your popularity down unless you've bought the Never Become Unpopular potion. Later on, you'll probably have enough popularity to counter him, so it's fine, but he gives you a lot of coins. Coolbird is a dangerous one. If you have 2 or less mental health or chests, if you flip, you can never lose. Alright, it will never cost you anything. So if you have 2 or less mental health, then you can probably just run him safely. A really, really thing is to always stay at 2 mental health, but it is quite tricky to juggle. There is another one from the Bean Esquire, which gives you 4 points per approval. This is a very dangerous one because it locks you down to approving things you may not want to. So use this with care. Big Biz will offer you to buy student loans. If you can afford it, you should take it, and the reason is because the payout is massive. Never Unpopular Drink, you will always take this because it means that your Harbinger will never get the outcome where you drop to 0 coins, where you drop to 0 popularity, which means that you'll never get the guaranteed mental health damage. So, the other thing to remember, and this is the final piece of information, is with your popularity, there is very little reason to go above 60 popularity. At 60 popularity, you have a 30% chance, roughly about 30% chance to get the Grateful Harbinger. At 500 popularity, it only scales to something like 38.46% chance. What this means is once you go over 60, you can start using the popularity to buy bonuses. So you might potentially want to consider buying chests and stuff. However, that's up to you. The first piece of advice is do not use your resources on chests. So, dangerous game, but there is options where you can do it. That's the information. I will actually link to a video of FaZe where she does a run. It was very, very impressive, just so you can see how it works. Obviously, this is not my knowledge. She has shared this with me, and I have just run with it. All right. Yeah, so that's kind of all there is for this cavern. It's a lot. Okay, that's all the time I've got for the absolute overload of information. If you do have any more questions, feel free to ask them in the chat below. If you do want to catch up with Faye in regards to Justice, she is in my Discord server. So yeah, she's always there. She's very, very helpful. She's learnt the game in a really, really short time, so highly recommend. Otherwise, like, share and subscribe. Until next time, you've been amazing. Take care.